There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. Today is November 6th, 2023. I'm Pricilla Almquist Olsen, your host, and today we have the distinct pleasure of being entertained by two of the greatest entertainers in Easton, Massachusetts, Jack Colombo and his very talented 15-year-old daughter, Tori. So welcome, Jack.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
And welcome,
Pleasure.
Tori.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So tell me, Jack, I know a lot about you, but the audience doesn't. Tell me about your early beginnings. And I have a resume here, folks, of all kinds. And I'm going to mention a few of these people that he played with. You'll be just surprised. And it's amazing what you've... Well, first of all, you're one of the most talented keyboardists probably in the country.
Thank you.
And we've
Big
all seen him
compliment.
playing. The Shelbytown Cultural District owes all the talented musicians that are on our concert series in July and August to Jack. Jack is the one who finds them and recommends them, and we've had very successful concerts because of that. And of course, Jack and his group are there, and we heard Tori this past year also, which was wonderful. And okay, so tell me a little bit how you got started way back when.
I started playing at the age of 9, piano, and then I started performing professionally at the age of 15, local, weekends and things like that. When I graduated high school, I went out on the road full time, traveling. My first tour was in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, the northwestern provinces, in the dead of winter, mind you. So it was cold. But and then I came back, and music has been a full-time career since then. So I went from local to regional work. And then the road dates became more frequent. And I fell into the national circuit back in 1996.
I see, okay. So that brings, first of all, so you didn't get any formal training. You didn't go to music school or?
I took lessons for a good number of years, and I have taken college courses as well. And I continue to study with private instructors as well.
Boy, you're studying with instructors and when you could be the instructor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love listening to you, and
Thank
you have such spirit, and you really pour your heart and soul into your music. Wouldn't you agree, Tori?
I would, 100%.
And so when I look at this resume and where you've been, and you've worked with over 130 recording artists as music director and keyboardist, and most of them have charted a top 50 hit. So I look at the list is incredible. Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas, the Impressions, the Manhattan Transfer, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Jay and the Americans, and we talked about Marty Cooper Smith, my friend from Warwick, New York, where I lived and had a law practice there. Marty was a wonderful guy, and always had his guitar around his neck, and sweetheart. And then the Zodiacs, the OJs, there's just so many here. The Shirelles, Shirley Austin Reeves of the Shirelles. What's that one about? Mama?
Mama said. There would always be days like these, Mama said.
Yes,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
And then, who's going to love me tomorrow?
Will you still love me tomorrow?
Yeah. What is it?
Will you
still love me tomorrow? Will you still love me tomorrow?
That's right. See, you could have been a Shirelle, But they did Soldier Boy, which was a big hit. Yeah.
See, I'm dating myself.
No, not too much.
Okay, but anyway, so what was your experience with these artists? I mean, um, you were part of their performance because you were just as good as they were, and they relied on you.
Well, it's a very high compliment. I appreciate that. Well, I gained a lot of experience in the process because I was working more regionally, and all of a sudden the national circuit opened up, and it was quite a jump. So
Yeah.
I had a learning curve behind that, but I met the Drifters on a certain date we did in the Berkshires, and we got along great, and we kept in touch, and they kept saying, someday you're going to be our music director, whatever, and a couple of years went by. And then one day, I was leaving the house. It was right before Christmas, or right after it, right before New Year's. And I got a phone call. And it was the manager going, "Jack, this is Lou." I go, "Hey, Lou, what's up?" He goes, "I just have to tell you something." I go, "What?" And he says, "As of the new year," which was maybe 4 or 5 days away, he goes, "You're going to be Charlie's new music director. You're going to be the music director for the Drifters, and you're going to be touring full time with them." And I'm like, it was quite a surprise. And so I'm thinking, like, how often am I going to be on the road? Travel plans, what are my responsibilities? What's the pay? Obviously, compensation. And he says, you have a lot of questions, but you go out and have a good time wherever you're going tonight, and we'll talk later. Click. And he just hung up. And so my head was spinning for a few days. But I ended up driving to Pennsylvania and meeting with management, and they laid everything out for me. And that's how it began. And so that year, I went out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we were married at that point.
Yep.
And had Tori come along?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And what about her older sister?
Not yet.
Not yet.
That was
Not
before
yet.
her.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is quite a resume. It's just amazing that you were music director and keyboardist for quite a number of national acts.
Yeah. What happens is usually oldies acts, they're a multi-bill performance where if you go, there could be 4, 5, 6 acts on the bill. So what they do is take the music director from each act and combine them into one band, one backing band. So all the music directors end up backing the entire show up, all the groups up. So that's how the list expanded at that point, because I'd be playing keyboards for all of them.
Which one did you really find most inspiring?
Drifters.
Yeah, the Drifters.
Yeah, that's where my heart is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Drifters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the closest to my heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had, certain ones were very easy and other ones are very challenging too. Some of them were scary, but
Yeah, right.
you get through it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So tell me about Tori. Now, you and your wife adopted Tori, and also her older sister,
Brianna.
right?
Yep.
Brianna, yeah. Did you ever, in a million years, think that the music gene would be in her psyche because she couldn't inherit it from you?
I give all the credit to God. It was a total blessing, that we came together and. The 2 great kids and, well, young ladies now, but you know what I mean. But in fact, we realized that she loved music and, had a love for that and had a natural ability at a very, very young age.
So it was really a gift, a wonderful gift to you and your wife.
Huge.
Yeah. And of course, Tori, let's talk to you a little bit, because your dad was a really great gift to you, wasn't he?
He was. Introduced me to, everything. Just the music, growing up in the household, just music. A lot of people call me an old soul because I know all the old music and stuff. But no, yeah, I'm just so grateful, honestly. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and so has he obviously he encourages you. Have you ever collaborated with him on, if you get stuck with a phrase, or you're writing a song, and either with the lyrics or with the melody, do you ever collaborate with your dad?
Well, recently I've been more the lyrics part,
Mhm,
and then
mhm.
he gives all the melody. I mean, once he hears something, he could put a note to it, and we just start there. And
Mm.
yeah,
So, but I'm sure you have your own melodies, right?
yeah, I kind of give him a little da 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 da, and then he goes from there. Cause
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
me. But yeah, no.
Well, you actually
amazing.
do most of the melodies. I mean, I have to give it credit for
Well,
that. I have to
I
find,
don't wanna.
Yeah.
to figure out what the chords are. That's
That
what I'm
yeah,
trying
it's
to
the
do.
chords that
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
So,
Okay. So, this is one of the big announcements. We should have a little fanfare. Roll the drums. Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Drifters percussionist, youngest on record to be a member of the backing musicians. This is Tori Colombo.
Wow.
And how old were you when that happened? Were you 15 or 14?
8.
You were 8 years old?
I was 8. Yeah.
Oh my God.
My first performance. Yeah.
And with the Drifters.
With the Drifters.
And so what were you playing? The guitar?
I was playing percussion, so congas, all the handheld, and all that stuff.
Well, I've heard you play the drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're really good at it.
Thank you.
So, and here at age 8, you were at the Stadium Theater in Woonsocket, and you played a 75-minute set at age 8. How did you endure that?
I mean, well, we've been practicing for 6 months. Getting there, it was all kind of new to me. I switched from the kit to percussion, so there's a little more to that. But I mean, I had a blast learning everything. He gave me a lot of homework, John, a lot of homework.
Yeah,
so
sure.
yeah, and then honestly, when the show started, it was a breeze. It went by, and all I could do was smile. I mean, that's what everybody, just the big smile on my face. But I was just so happy to be there, and happy to experience that.
Well, and you remember that, and that was 7 years ago.
It was. It's very.
And so
Yes,
you're the
yes,
youngest
yes.
on record to perform with the Dell Vikings, who sang "Come Go With Me." Okay, and where did that happen?
Ooh,
the Z.
the Zeitarian. Yeah.
In New Bedford.
In New Bedford. Okay. And then Lala Brooks, lead vocalist of the Crystals, do Ron Ron, Then You Kiss Me. So what did you do with that group?
We kind of figure out what songs, and we listen to them, and then we find the beat, whether it's straight, bouncy. That's kind of like our names for all the beats we create. But yeah, kind of that. And then my dad, he doesn't like me to stick to percussion or the congas. He wants me to pick up different instruments. So I'm always doing that. Changing the scenery and putting more sounds into the songs and stuff.
Okay, and then you were asked to sing backup vocals last minute prior to showtime with the Times.
Yes.
And So Much in Love and Little Trustmaker, are those songs?
Yeah, so it was in the hotel room. He was like, "Can you do this?" I was like, "Sure." I mean, I couldn't pass that up. Come on. But no, yeah, I just went through it, sound check, sing louder. So, I just let it all out, I mean, on stage, it's just a breath of fresh air. It's just amazing.
So you feel at home on stage, don't you?
Yeah.
That's your venue. That's your home. That's where you belong.
Yeah, especially with the presence of my dad. It's just amazing. It's all I could ask for, really.
Yeah. Do you feel more comfortable when your dad's playing?
I don't think I've ever.
I don't think we've ever done
so.
separate. We've always been together.
Been together?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in New Bedford, this it's called the Zeitarium.
The Zeitarian, yep.
But you've also been at Boston City Hall Plaza and Proctor's Theater in New York.
Yes.
Is that New York City?
It wasn't. It was outside.
Schenectady.
Yeah.
Oh, in Schenectady.
Yep.
Okay. And then you've gone on cruises. Oh my God, cruises to Bermuda with New England's premier oldies group, the Reminiscence. You've done oh my goodness, you went on an Alaska cruise with the Drifters.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That must have been wonderful.
It was. It was crazy because it was in the auditorium, and usually for the Bermuda cruise we were outside. So it was nice to actually do a real show on a cruise at that in the middle of the sea. It was amazing. It was so good.
In the middle of the sea.
Yeah.
And Paul Revere and the Raiders were there too. So, do you keep in touch with any of these groups that you've sung with?
I usually, all my connections go through my dad, so.
Oh yeah, well,
you
of
know,
course,
yeah.
that's the way it should be. You are
Yeah.
only 15 after all.
No, I mean there's certain groups that we speak with on a fairly regular basis, and you know we'll get on the phone and we'll catch up. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So yeah.
So, have you gotten any requests for your musical talent lately?
I don't think so.
No, we typically do one show a year at the Zeitarian Theater, but they're renovating. So we've been looking at another venue in Fall River.
I see.
And so that will probably be the next national act show that we do.
Okay.
Yep.
And when you were age 9, you were at the Mohegan Sun Arena with 20,000 people,
Crazy.
all listening to Tori Colombo. And it says, when the Drifters appeared with Bozer's Oldies Rock and Roll show of Sha-Na-Na fame. Oh yeah, Sha-Na-Na. We all remember that.
Remember Bowser? The
Yes, right. Yeah.
fist, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, how many times have you appeared with the Drifters?
Ooh, I mean, all my early shows were with them. I was very loyal. You could ask my dad. I was like, if not the Drifters, I don't want to do it. Yeah, so I feel like I can't even.
It ranged from 8 up until just prior to COVID.
Yeah.
So
A
there
good
was
amount
a
of
good
shows.
few a year.
So
yeah.
COVID kind of put a kink in the performance, didn't it?
Yeah, as you well know.
Yes, yeah, and of
Yeah.
course it did it for everybody. You weren't alone. So, but during that time, I'm sure you did a lot of songwriting and practicing and.
I mean, when you're at home, like, what can you do? So, you know, I found that's really where I kind of started to work during there. And, you know, I would just come with you and sing whatever I have. And, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and so have you ever gone, Tori, with your dad to the Patriots when he when he performed for a Super Bowl private team celebration? He didn't
Before you were
invite
born.
you?
I know, it was before I was born.
That probably was a wise idea. Yeah, and then the Pittsburgh Ballet Pop Concert Series. You were the music director. So did that mean that? How often were you in Pittsburgh? Did you have to go there?
We frequented Pittsburgh, you know, quite often because it's a big oldies rock and roll town. But there was an evening where the Pittsburgh Ballet had a pop concert series where the ballet dancers dance to whatever group they bring in. And that night they brought the Drifters in, and so they choreographed their dances to the Drifters performing live. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah.
And unique.
It is. Yeah, it was very unique.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I want to know about the Pittsburgh Steelers pregame show. What was all that about?
Well, we were working in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Not that ballet day, but another show. And it was in the hockey arena, actually, where they play. The Pittsburgh Penguins play hockey. It was a multi-act show. And the promoter, who we worked with frequently, it was Deborah Nader out of Florida, asked us if we would do the pregame show. So we said yes. They were playing Cleveland. And we did a song prior to the teams coming out, but it was snowing. It was very, very cold in the dead of winter, and it was snowing.
And you were outside playing?
Yeah, they offered us seats right behind the bench to watch the game, but the guys all wanted to go back to the hotel room because you're sitting out in the snow and it's freezing. So we went back to the hotel and watched it from there.
Oh, yeah.
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 So tell me, besides Pittsburgh, are there any other locations where your musical opportunities have flourished because you were there? I mean, in other words, have you piggybacked on other venues in the same location? Have people seen you and then they want you and, you know?
It's a good question. Typically, the circuit that we were on, it's the dates are planned maybe a year ahead of time, a little less, perhaps a little bit more. So the type of venues that we're in, performing arts centers and theaters, you very rarely have someone come up and say, hey, I want to hire you guys for a night, because of the nature of the circuit itself. Some agents or promoters may be watching the show that night to see how it works and what the numbers look like and what the audience is favoring, and they may approach the group afterwards and say, hey, I want to put on a show next year. But there are clauses where if a promoter comes up to you, there's a radius clause. So if you work a certain area, it has to be so many months later after the show that you're allowed to work within that radius, because ticket sales will conflict
It's like
with one another.
So it's sort of like the music world's non-compete clause.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. Perfect.
Yeah. So of all these groups, the Drifters have been the ones that have been most loyal to you, and you most loyal to them, would you say?
Full time with them.
Yeah. And is that because you go back so far? You were there?
There's a lot of reasons. That certainly has a lot to do with it.
But don't you think, too, like in a lot of businesses, like in the show Hollywood, for example, movie business, it's all about the relationships you make. And do you find that to be the case in the music world, too?
100%.
100%?
100%.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's because there needs to be some trust, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like other careers, it's very competitive.
Right.
And as you well know. And it's all about trust and building trustful relationships and, sincere relationships.
Right.
And respectful relationships as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's something my son's learned. So.
And he's learned it very well.
He has.
He's
yes.
doing great.
Yeah. Well, he kept his principles, and he surrounded himself with friends who have the same principles. So they're not out to, take advantage of him, or not out to. I don't want to use the vernacular.
Right. No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Stab him or whatever. But yeah. So that's so important, and I imagine in the music world, Tori, you're going to find that your friendships, not just with people who are older, who have given you the opportunity, but with younger people, younger artists your age, you're going to have a whole new set of relationships and a whole new group of musicians.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is exciting, new generation.
So tell me, what are some of the motifs of your songs? What do you like to write about?
Personal experiences. I like to take, and I also like to take personal experiences, and maybe whether it's bad or good, and just turn it into a song, I guess. I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but
one time you told me, one time you explained it, it's storytelling for
Story,
you, like
yeah,
a musical
like
form.
I want
you bring that up
the
a
way
lot.
to be heard as well, in that form, and also just like putting a melody to something, you know.
And do you find that sometimes there are certain lyrics that need to be repeated in a song?
Like the chorus. I would say, well, I mean, you repeat the chorus. I mean, I have My Mistake. I repeat that a lot. Always says that one. But because that's like the real message of the song. So whatever that is, so My Mistake, that's what I would repeat. To really get the message. And I mean, it's the title of the song too.
So tell me, are there songwriters whom you admire, and are there songwriters who you might try to copy?
I admire Harry Styles. I don't know if you would know him, but it's more of not his like style of music. It's just more of how he came and like rose up to fame. But for copying, I feel as though now, like the younger artists, they're more very into talking about their feelings and stuff, which that's what I do. But I feel like I don't want to like copy anybody. I want to kind of have my own sound, if that makes sense. But like now there's just so much out there like it's hard not to,
Yeah.
I mean, get a little.
Well, it's hard for your subconscious to avoid it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. One of my favorite songwriters is Carole King. And who's the other one?
Female?
She's a black artist, and she plays the piano too. And
Roberta Flack?
yes,
Is it
Roberta
That
Flack.
was a lucky guess. That was a lucky
Yes.
guess. Yeah, she's amazing.
Oh, amazing! I just love Roberta. I love the two of them. I mean, both of them. They're just amazing. And then there's Collins, first name Joan. Judy. Joni Collins. No,
Judy Collins.
Judy Collins. Right.
That's right.
And
Sending the Clowns.
Yes, and hasn't she written a lot of her own music?
Yeah, you're thinking of Joni would be Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Is that who you're thinking
Yeah, I'm
of?
thinking of Joni
Gotcha.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Carole King wrote Up on the Roof for the
Really?
Drifters.
No.
She sure did.
Well, that's the other thing. She's written so many songs for other people.
Oh, yeah. She's amazing.
And most people don't realize that. And yeah, I mean, so when you think about, there've been she's written songs for a lot of different artists. And
Right.
I want to ask Tori this. Do you think when Carole King wrote for a certain artist, do you think she was taking into consideration the artist's personality? Or do you think it was just a topic, a theme that the person might like?
I
Or
think
both?
that, I mean, the tone of Up on the Roof kind of gives the drip. Is that just me? Like,
No, it is no.
Oh,
It's very
the tone of it is very
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think, I think that's one of like what the considerations. That's the word. Yeah. I mean, I would have never guessed, honestly.
But it's amazing when you, because when you see on an album who wrote the song that this artist is singing, and it's just amazing how prolific Carole King and Roberta Flack are. I mean, really amazing. Yeah. And you are amazing, Tori. But again, you have an amazing papa, who is Mr. Musician, keyboardist extraordinaire. I never saw anybody whose fingers could fly over two keyboards at the same time.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
It's so easy to tell the truth. A lot more difficult to fake it.
True.
Right. So anyway, it's been a pleasure having both of you on.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. And it's so exciting for me and for people in Easton who've been following you, Jack, and now are following Tori, to see how things are going to happen in the future. And they're only going to be bright, and they're going to be beautiful, and you're going to be very successful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you have the right attitude, and you're not going to let fame go to your head. No, and your dad is going to make sure of that. So thank you so much. And
Really appreciate it.
well, I appreciate your being here
Thank you.
and finding out that Jay and the Americans, and Marty Coopersmith, my friend Marty.
You know what Marty does? When I just remembered that when we'd all be hanging out in a hotel lobby,
Yeah,
all the groups, he'd always have his guitar,
yeah,
and he would start playing, and he carried that everywhere with. Well, you know that.
I did. He
Yeah,
was always
yeah,
has
carries
this
it everywhere with
everywhere.
him.
Yeah,
Airports too.
Really?
Take it out in an airport.
Yeah.
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 Well, anyway, so we all look forward to your progress, Tori, and in the future that you're going to make for yourself, for sure. And Jack, we're going to continue to enjoy all of your musical talent.
Thank you.
And next, certainly you're going to be on the steps of the Oak Saints Memorial Hall in July or August.
Yep.
With your band and with Tori.
Yep.
And we look forward to that too.
Thank you.
So that's it for tonight. We thank you all for joining us, and keep your eyes and ears on Jack Colombo and his daughter Tori Colombo, because Jack has gone a lot of places, but Tori is going to outpace her dad, I feel.
I believe that. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for watching. Until next time, be well.